Jesus Freak here, and I've had a few interactions with people who didn't believe in the idea of the substitutionary atonement or thought it made God look like a butt. But association of Isaiah 53 with Jesus suffering goes back so far that it shows up in Acts 8. And Philip actually used these verses to preach the gospel to the Ethiopian eunuch. So it was accepted at least that far back, and we're talking, first century AD. In particular, well, really this whole area here. The whole bit from 52 all the way up through 54 is actually what you'd call a sort of ur-gospel or proto-gospel. But this is really the structure of Isaiah in general. Just as the Bible itself has 66 books, and it's 66, not 72 or 74. It's 66. Anyway, just as the Bible has 66 books, and it's divided 39 and 27, Isaiah has 66 chapters divided in 39 and 27. And a lot of New Testament prophecies are in that second part. And a lot of our understanding comes specifically from Isaiah 53. And many of these verses are quoted into the New Testament. The first verse has a couple quotes, who hath believed our report? To whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Which, of course, when people realized Jesus wasn't the Messiah they were looking for, but a different kind of Messiah, they turned on him. They wanted a conquering hero. That's not what they got. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. This is the verse for the substitutionary atonement. This is where we get that. It's not an idea someone came up with. All we, like sheep, have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way. And the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. And this is where the Acts 8 citation is. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. The perfect man suffered and died for us. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors. And he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. You might notice that a lot of the newer versions of the Bible that follow Nestle-Aland text tend to leave out the verse in Luke 23 that goes where Jesus says, Father, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. But that's this right here. He made intercession for the transgressors. But in some circles that I follow, this whole idea, not only that there was any, substitutionary atonement, but that Isaiah is even referring to this, is deemed ridiculous. And I have to say, if you give up the whole message of Christianity, what's left? What even is there? If he didn't die for us, then what are we living for? If he didn't die for us, what do we have? I think it was Paul who said, if there's no death and resurrection, what point is there? Let's eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. But we can thank God that he did send his son, and his son offered himself willingly to take the curse that we deserved, because we inherited the curse. from our forefathers, and specifically from Adam. If we don't have this, what do we have? There's nothing left. Jesus freak out.